Good morning, everybody. How are you today? I hope you're well. Whew. Just getting my breath back a bit because I've been to the far end of our site to haul, that's Rusty wobbling you, to haul 100 kilos of something over to my plot. I really need to work on my upper body strength. More of that in a minute. So, we've got a dry day. It's really quite bright. It's quite mild. I've already shed my fleece and one pair of trousers. It's much, I don't know whether it's warmer than I was expecting or it's just that lugging I just did has got me nice and warm already. But my goodness, I am so behind on my jobs. The main one, you know, being in terms of the leaf gathering, shredding and getting my beds covered. Just had a quick look. I've got 5 of my mini strip beds still to do. It's partly a rain thing. You know, we've had lots of rainy days. But also I'm still really struggling to motivate myself to do any work. I think it's just that winter thing. You know, and it's cold and damp out. Oh, I'd much rather stay indoors, working indoors, and by the evening curling up with a good book, which reminds me I brought it to show you. I love my books, you all know that by now. And one of the things that has irked me over the last couple of years is just not having any time to read. So in the last couple of weeks, I don't know, it was really bothering me. My own fault. I decided, right, I'm going to make time to read. So I'm finishing my day each day an hour earlier. I'm trying to finish everything that I'm doing by 9 p.m. so that I can have at least a good hour curled up with a book. And I've been loving it. Oh my goodness. The last couple of weeks have reminded me just how much pleasure and joy I get from reading. I totally lose myself in whatever book I'm reading. Now, I know there's a load of you who, when I'm doing my thoughts on video, you're having a look over my shoulders to see what's on my bookcase. And I have talked about it in the past about, I'll show you my books, I'll talk about my books. And I was thinking I'll do that one day in a Sunday on the sofa video. That won't happen till the new year, because between now and then, at the weekends, I'm going to be publishing or uploading my year in the garden videos, part 2 and 3. Excuse me a sec. So those videos are still to come, and the weekends would get too crowded if I did year in the garden and Sunday on the sofa within 2 days. So that will come in the new year, and I thought also by doing it as part of a Sunday on the sofa, for those of you who aren't into reading, don't understand that, but for those of you who aren't, you don't need to watch that video. But the one I've just started, I mean, I'm only about 20 pages in. I couldn't resist it. So when I saw the spine on the shelf, I just picked this up in one of my local charity shops of The Good Life. I thought, oh, what's that? I've got to have a look. I literally had a couple of quid in my wallet. I will always spend my last 2 quid on a book rather than food. My goodness, I know it's ridiculous, isn't it? But feeds the soul. The subtitle is Up the Yukon Without a Paddle. And it's about a couple who were living in Cornwall. I think she's 29, he's 32. So young enough to be physically strong, but not so young as to not have had any life experience at all. So they basically up sticks and set off for British Columbia in Canada, and then go far, far north up into Yukon country to start a new life. From what I've read on the back, they're going to build their own cabin. It's going to be hard. Oh my goodness, the winters. So yeah, loving it. But I'm reading this off the back of having read 2 other books. And it's really interesting, this is what I'll talk about in a Sunday on the sofa. It's really interesting how the book that you read before the book you're reading now can really inform how you read the next book. Anyway, loving this so far. Good couple of quid spent, I think. Now, today, I've got 3 jobs to do today. Those broad beans with the chili powder, more of that when I do it. Mulching my garlic and leaf raking, more of that. No, not more of the leaf raking, more of the garlic. I'm just looking, I've just seen one of my friends coming down my path. So, excuse me a moment, I'll be back in a tick. And I'm back. Right. Oh, that was a lovely, lovely, lovely interruption from Kay, one of my plot neighbours. Look what she's given me. Gorgeous. Let me show you. A lovely woolly. Oh, that is going to keep me snug as a bug. I don't need it today. It's not this cold, but I'll tell you about it. So, oh, hang on a sec. Let's get this hair up. This is, the wool is from South Africa. Kay's just been back to visit family there. So it's been dyed using local flora and it's hand spun. Gorgeous. And then Kay herself has knitted it into this hat for me. Isn't that fantastic? I love it. You know, actually, let me bring it really close. The colours, they almost remind me of my flint corn. Isn't that fantastic? So, as I was saying to Kay, this will be great on days where, if I'm not doing too much movement, so like if I'm harvesting and pottering, pop this on. On days when I'm working hard, I'll probably get too hot. But anyway, gorgeous, thank you, Kay. I did have another little present from her, but I'll show you that in the kitchen at some point. Right, before we go out, one last thing. Excuse me, I'm overexcited. This story I'm going to cut very short if I can. Generally, when someone leaves our site, they leave their plot for whatever reason, we don't clear the plot. The new person coming in, they get it sort of sightseeing, as it were. Oh, I got cold, we've been sitting chatting. But last year we had a couple of folk leave who unfortunately left their plots in such a terrible state. We did do quite a lot of clearing up because it just was not going to be fair to, well, I don't think we would have rented those plots in the states they were, but it just wouldn't be fair. So we had a couple of massive clean-up days and ended up with 6 one-ton bags of rubbish, literally rubbish. Anything that was recyclable we separated, metal we separated, compostables we separated, what have you. And we got in touch with a guy who does rubbish clearance to come and take it away. Brilliant. So we've now used him a couple of times. Fab. The other day, the site secretary... I can't talk, it's gone cold. The site secretary got a call from him. He had been in to clear up for the police after a cannabis farm raid. Goodness me, no, we haven't been all given a cannabis plant. Obviously all the cannabis plants were taken away and destroyed by the police. Goodness knows what it was like downwind of the incinerator that day. But this guy and his crew went in to do the rest of the clean-up. And amongst it, there was tons and tons of growing medium, that sort of thing. So it was destined for landfill, which seems crazy. So the guy rang our secretary to say, would you be able to use it? So there's enough for, I think there's enough for 2 bags for each plot holder. They're 50-litre bags. I'm going to try and lift it up now to show you. Oh, sorry. Oh, lordy. Yeah, 50 litres. Can you see that? It's called Cocoa Professional Plus. So apparently these bags cost, I think they're £18 to buy. It's crazy. It's organic. I'm just reading the back label. It says it's organic, and it's basically called buffered. Is it called buffered cocoa husk? It's basically made from coconut husks. So there's absolutely no nutritional value to it in terms of putting it in a pot to plant in. However, actually I was just discussing this with Kay when she came over. We were both saying that mixed with, say, compost as a seed starter, it might be quite useful, because with your seed starting you don't really want a nutrient dense compost to start in. But I thought, excuse me, I thought it may work as a mulch, which then in time, as it gets incorporated into the soil, will help break up some of my clay. So, before I really freeze now, let's get out into the garden. I'll show you where I'm going to use it as a mulch, and whilst we're there, let's have a look to see what's happened in that bed. Okay, first things first, let's get these covers off. See if there's any more signs of any of the white garlic. White as in Isle of Wight. I'm not looking yet, I'm delaying my gratification. I'm not looking, I'm not peeking. Pop my nets there. I'm looking. Ah, finally, it looks like they're showing. So there should be 5 rows of garlic in here. I've got that side, that's my saved cloves from the harvest earlier this year, back in, I think it was June. Then, just bung that there a second. And then I've got 2 rows that Belinda gave me, which is the Isle of Wight one. My label has been interfered with by I don't know what. So they're just showing. And then I've got 2 more rows here of my own. And weirdly, this outside row, that well up like those, then the inside row, much smaller. No rhyme or reason to that. I'm going to come the other way. I'm so mindful. At the moment it's so wet and slippy underfoot. The last thing I want to do, I don't think I'm going to go over onto my bum, but what I don't want to do is slip and jar my knee. So let's have a look at this stuff. Whoopla. Fingers crossed it will work as an okay mulch. Oh, I'm going to bring you in closer so you can have a look. Where am I going to stand it to not fall over? Sit. Stay. Oh, I spoke too soon. I just went flying. Right, here it is. Have a little look at that. It's like, well, yeah, it's like chopped up coconut. Now, like I said, I think it's not going to add any nutrition, but as a mulch to protect the soil over winter from all the winter rains, I think it'll work quite well. And then later on, it should, well, I don't know whether, what I don't know at the moment, sorry, I'm sort of thinking on my feet because I've never used anything like this before. I don't know whether the worms will want it and want to take it down to incorporate it. Are the worms going to be attracted to it? I have no idea. So it might be that if the worms don't take it down, it might be this sort of stuff that I then have to just fork in a little bit in the spring. But I'm thinking it's got to be good in terms of helping to uncompact my clay soil. Now the other thing I'm wondering as I'm doing this now, let's move the bag, quite heavy, is it going to form a mat with the rain? Is that going to be a good or bad thing? In other words, is it going to compact like my ground normally does? Impede growing? I don't see why. I don't see why it would do that at all. Anyway, oh look, spod. Oh, that's ridiculous, isn't it? Still pulling spods out. But yeah, I'll give it a go. I am giving it a go, and I will, of course, keep you guys posted. Let you know what I think of it come the spring. But yes, I have hopes for it. Whether they're high hopes or not, neither here nor there. I have hopes for it. Okay, let's get the rest on. It occurs to me that I'm creating a really beautiful litter tray. Oh dear. I'm wondering whether to put the nets back on, but one of the reasons for mulching was to get the nets off, especially the shade netting. They need as much light as possible. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk leaving the nets off. So it looks like it's going to take 100 litres to cover this bed. Wow. If I'd have bought this stuff, that would be 36 quid. And that, my friends, is why generally I'm not a no digger, because for the most part everything has to be bought, and I try to garden for nothing. Nearly there. Good stuff. Okay, that's all done now, and like I said, it's taken the best part of the 100 litres. I had a little tiny bit left, so I've just for now dumped it under the Cavallonero there, because that had a load of leaf litter under it, which is well, it was put on ages ago. It was put on for the, what do we call it, it's the onions, leaf and grass clippings, and they've all gone down now, so that definitely needs mulching this winter. But yes, I wonder how this stuff's going to do. Let me give you a really good close-up of it so you can get an idea of the texture. What I didn't notice on the packet was what it said, if anything, about moisture retention. Hello, happy garlics. So yeah, I will keep an eye on it, and I'll report back to you. Just to say, because it probably wasn't clear earlier when I was too far away, but this is a row of mine. This is a row of mine. They're looking pretty much the same. That's a row of mine, teeny tiny, and then here, do you see these two rows? That's the lovely white stuff from Belinda. So hopefully, oh, I just noticed a little gap I've left. Yeah, hopefully they will all start coming on now, and happily grow away over the winter. But I have heard a lot of people are a bit concerned this year because their garlic seems to be really, really late showing. I think we just have to be a bit patient, don't we? Okay, next job. What's the next job, Vivi? Broad beans. I'm all set to go back to the top of the garden and do some re-sowing of my broad beans. Just before I do, a quick word on re-sowing. I've experienced it so many times, and it can be really, really disheartening. But my message to you all and to myself is try not to be too disheartened. Oh my goodness, is that rain? We're not supposed to have rain today. Quick, let's go in the shed. How frustrating. We were not forecast any rain today. That's super annoying. Hopefully it'll pass. Anyway, yes, just back to what I was saying about re-sowing. Try not to be too disheartened. If this has been your first year of growing, or next year is going to be your first year of growing, re-sowing is par for the course. For me, it's more often than not, it's things like carrots and parsnips, beans, and there are so many reasons why we end up re-sowing. Poor germination. That's happened to me for the last couple of years with parsnips, which is why I was so delighted to get those gorgeous snips out of the ground the other day. Yeah, so just poor germination. And a note on that for you to remember for next year. Obviously you can't sow too early that things won't germinate because it's cold, for example. But with things like the carrots and parsnips, try to get them in at the first possible opportunity, so that after 3 weeks or so, and you can see, I've got massive gaps in germination, or there's zero germination, you've got time to do a second sowing. There you go, that's my top tip for next year. Sow early enough to be able to do a second sowing. Of course, one of the other reasons for re-sowing, happens to me every year with my beans, is they just come up, they're looking beautiful, healthy, gorgeous, just raring to get going, and then we have a night of rain and along come the slugs, and the lot's gone. Likewise with the broad beans, it looks like the mice have had a lot of them. Look, because it's chucking down, I'm just going to talk about this in the shed. I'd rather talk about it while I'm out there in situ. No, it's not kitty treats. You do not want this, and that's what I want to talk about. So there are two options I've heard about for helping to put the mice off. One is peppermint oil and the other is chili powder. So I didn't go the peppermint oil route because I didn't have any and it's too expensive for me to buy yet in comparison with a bag of chili powder. A couple of you have pointed out, and it's really, really worth me reiterating now, is that I don't want the cats walking through chili powder and then licking their paws when they come to clean themselves later. Of course, I would never want to do anything to harm the cats. So once this is on, the whole bed will be covered in nets again, and I will make sure they are secured at the ends and at the sides so the cats can't get into the tunnels and get this stuff on their paws. And what I hadn't known is that peppermint oil is highly toxic to cats. So it's a real lesson in, and I would have done this if I was using peppermint oil, whatever you're going to do in that sort of way in your garden, do your research first. Just because something is natural, organic, whatever it is, doesn't mean it's safe. It's exactly what I was saying the other day about using herbs as medicines for ourselves. Just because it's a plant, because it's natural, does not mean it's safe. Think about hemlock. So with peppermint oil, again, it would be a case of making absolutely sure there's no way the cats could get anywhere near it. Knowing now, as I do, that it is so highly toxic to them, I'm not going to go that route at all. I am not going to risk it, because occasionally these guys do get under my tunnels. There's just no way. So, is there rain passing? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there and get re-sowing. I'm not going to take you with me though, because I showed you how to sow the broad beans 4, 6, 8 weeks ago now. And I don't want to get you wet. So why don't you all go and have a nice warm cup of tea and think of me while I'm out there in the rain, re-sowing. Well, the sun has come out again. I don't know how brief it's going to be, but I just thought I'd quickly show you the telltale signs. I mean, it's pretty blimming clear, isn't it? You can see above each seed sowing station these telltale little holes where the mices have come along and said, oh, deter very much. Oh dear. I mean, I do quite like mice. I like all little creatures, but I'm not doing all this work to feed mice. I'm doing all of this work to feed me. So yeah, let's get re-sowing and see if this chili powder will work. And at least I have a bit of sunshine to enjoy again. Yay! Obviously, having never tried the chili powder before, I'm not sure how much to use. So I think what I'll do is just a little, the tiniest sprinkle over each seed station. What I hope is that the smell is enough to put them off, so they won't even come near it, I'm hoping. And just on that note, please, 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 don't anybody berate me for doing this. I don't want to hurt the mice, of course I don't. I just want to put them off from taking this next sowing of beans. You know, literally everything I do in the garden, in life in general, I'm always thinking about the environment, what's the best way to do something with the least impact on the environment. I care about animals. I would never ever intentionally hurt any animal apart from slugs, sorry. But even them, I try to give them a good death by getting drunk. The bottom line with this situation is I can't afford to be sentimental about the mice. I can't afford to think, oh, sweet little things, oh, strokey, strokey, little pet in my hand. This is my food. So I have to do whatever I can to protect it and, like I say, put the mice off. Put it this way, if you went to your food cupboard tomorrow, you open the door and find that everything has gone, destroyed, eaten, whatever, by mice, you wouldn't simply go to the shops, refill the cupboard, come back to it the next day, find everything gone again. You would do something about the mouse problem. So, like I said, I'm trying to do it this way so that I don't want to hurt them, I don't want to kill them, but I do want them to leave my food alone. Here's hoping. The other thing I'm hoping is that we're not going to get another downpour anytime too soon. I'll check on this regularly over the next few days, and if it looks like these new sowing stations are undisturbed, then I'll get myself a big bag of this so I can reapply at not much cost, so that as and when it rains. But we'll see. Like I said, I'll keep an eye on it over the next couple of days. Hopefully it won't get disturbed. But now, very importantly, I'm going to cover the whole lot again because I don't want the cats on here. Right, I'm going to need some extra bricks this time, I think. Whew, the light goes so quickly these days. Where are we? Middle of December, so in a week or so, 10 days, I don't know the date today, it'll be the 21st of December, it'll be a midwinter, and from then, yay, the days start getting longer. Oh, I can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. So my next job today is to go and do some leaf raking. I'm not going to take you with me. I'm going to be at it for hours, well, for as long as the light holds. I've got some ton bags behind the sheds. The shed single, not sheds plural. So I'm going to take those with me because it makes more sense. Hey Rusty, that's why you wobbled. It makes much more sense to me to go along with the ton bag, just rake and rake and rake and rake and rake until I fill it, drag it back to the plot, leave it on one of my beds, and then at least I've got all the leaves together so that then on each visit that I come down I can strim a bit and mulch a bit, strim a bit, mulch a bit, rather than going backwards and forwards with the barrow. And oh, that's little Rosie, she's looking at a bird. Yeah, it makes much more sense to go and do one big session to get the leaves, and then as and when I'm here I can just do a bit and get these beds covered. Will I get them covered before Christmas? There's no guarantee at this rate. But I think what I'm going to do first is, it's quite mild today, it's about 5 degrees centigrade, double it at 30, so that's 40 Fahrenheit approximately. I think what I'm going to do for a few minutes is I'm just going to go and sit in the garden, take one of the chairs. The shed is now deep in shade by this time of day, but there's still a little bit of sun at the top end of the plot, so I'm going to take my chair up there and just sit and enjoy the quiet and let my eyes light upon all the different colours that are still around. It's definitely soul food, isn't it? Well, on that note, you wobbled again. It's Rusty, he's boinging around everywhere today. What is it, Rusty? Why are you so boingy? Ah, it may be because he caught a mouse earlier on. I saw him. It was an amazing pounce. Thanks, buddy. Yes, for now though, from me, and Rusty, and Rosie. Haven't seen Poppy or George today. It's cheerio for now. I hope I will see you again really soon. I will, because I've got another little video in my mind at least lined up for you. But until then, please take care of yourselves. Enjoy any precious moment that you can get outside without getting too cold or too wet. Bye for now. No, Rusty, don't spray. No! Oh. Too late. He's just... I'm not impressed with you spraying inside my shed. Oh, that's going to stink. It was on the wall. Ugh. Time to get the mop out. See you soon, everyone.